How's it going, everybody? This is Top Driver. I hope you're having another great day, and welcome back to another video. Alright, so due to a lot of craziness that happened earlier this week, I had to push it back today, but either way, this is another edition of Haulin Games. In this series, I'll talk about all the games that I picked up for my video game collection throughout every month, and for this one, I'm going to be talking about all the games that I got for the month of May of 2023. And yes, unfortunately, it is yet another small collection. Unfortunately, as I said before, I'm running out of space dramatically to continue storing my video games that I pick up every month, and I am thinking about putting a temporary pause on it for a little while. I will tell you a little bit about that in my next Haulin Games video in June. That's probably going to be my last one for a while, depending on, what happens from here on out, but still, I'll tell you a little bit more about that near the end of this video. But either way, we'll just go ahead and get right into this. So I was only able to get pickups for the PlayStations 1, 2, and 4, so we're going to go ahead and start out with the PlayStation 1. Now, I only managed to get 2 games for the PlayStation 2, however, they are both from the same video game franchise, so I thought I would go ahead and talk about both of them here, and it's called Road Rash 3D and Road Rash Jailbreak. So this is the second and the third games that were released for the PlayStation 1 in regards to the Road Rash franchise. This one was released all the way back in 1998, I think, and then the other one, Road Rash Jailbreak, was released, I believe, in either 99 or 2000. I don't remember what it is. However, those that obviously don't know about Road Rash, obviously is a video game franchise in which you race on motorcycles across streets like in California, and basically you're fighting off against a whole bunch of other racers. You're using a whole bunch of weapons, you're even using, like parts of your feet, like you're knocking people off your motorcycles or so, maybe put them from like oncoming traffic or something like that, and try to see if you can be the first person across the finish line. It's like a normal standard racing game, however, this one is really crazy. Now, in my opinion, I think Road Rash is probably one of the most underrated PlayStation 1 racing franchises there is, and obviously, although there's a lot of wackiness in both these games along with the original Road Rash, I do feel like that is underappreciated a little bit, just for how, adrenaline filled it is. There's a lot of action going on. It's really on the edge of your feet stuff, and really just, there's just so much that is going on in that game, just a lot of craziness and all that stuff, and really, it's just one of those games that if you're a real diehard racing fan, particularly, like fictional racing games, this would be a racing franchise that you would really enjoy getting yourself into. And just like the original Road Rash 3D and Road Rash Jailbreak, these two games are no joke. I played both of them already, and I feel like that both these games, at least in regards to the weapons usage, along with a whole bunch of other things, is a real step up to the original Road Rash. And I feel like that, there's a lot more action going on in both these games. So I really enjoy both of these games. I really enjoy the Road Rash franchise, and I'm looking forward to getting to play a little bit more of these in the near future. Again, those were the 2 PlayStation 1 games that I got for this month. I only got 1 PlayStation 2 game for this month, unfortunately. Now, obviously enough, I do have this game for the PlayStation 1. However, there's also a PlayStation 2 version of this, and I wasn't really interested in getting this up until now, but I felt like, why not just go ahead and see exactly what it is like. This is the PlayStation 2 version of Donald Duck Going Quackers. Now, just like the PlayStation 1 version of this game, it's pretty much the same concept here. Obviously, you're playing as Donald Duck, and you're trying to save Daisy, and you're just going through a whole bunch of different levels. You're obviously trying to save a whole bunch of toys for, your nephews, and also picking up a whole bunch of stars, and also, you're having to go through a whole ton of big bosses to get to the big one at the very end of the game. However, obviously, the difference with regards to this one in comparison to the PS1 is that obviously the graphics are a little bit better, and obviously it's a little bit more high-tech than the PS1 version. Now again, the PlayStation 1 version of Donald Duck Going Quackers, it was released at a time that the PlayStation 2 had just come out. So obviously when they decided to develop the PlayStation 1 version of it, they decided that they needed to have a PlayStation 2 version of it. And from what I heard, a PlayStation 2 version of this is slightly better than the PlayStation 1 version that I'm currently playing right now. So I felt like, why not just go ahead and see exactly what it is about. And there's really not much to say about it. Other than that, there isn't really any major difference from this version in regards to the PlayStation 1 version of the game, It's basically the same storyline, you have the same amount of weapons, the same amount of mechanics and all that stuff, and so really, there's really nothing special in regards to this version compared to the PlayStation 1 version of the game. But either way, it is still good. I'm glad to have both the PS1 and PS2 versions of this game, and hopefully when I get done with the PlayStation 1 version, I can get into the PlayStation 2 version to see if this is even better than the PlayStation 1 version. And as I said before, the only other console that I got games for this month were for the PlayStation 4. And I managed to get 3 of them. A couple of them, though, I've had on my radar for a little while, so I felt like now would be the time to go ahead and pick them up. And the very first one of these that I managed to get was NASCAR Heat Evolution. So this was actually the very first NASCAR game that was released solely for the PlayStation 4. This was released all the way back in 2016. It was basically the revival of the Heat franchise. Obviously, for those that played on the early PlayStation 2 days, obviously you may remember games like NASCAR Heat 2002, and also NASCAR Dirt Daytona. The third one was a really good game. This was the very first game from the NASCAR Heat franchise since Dirt Daytona. And so they felt like that, like when NASCAR gave the license to Monster Games back, they felt like that they would bring the Heat franchise back. Unfortunately, from what I heard, the reviews for this game are crap, and I've seen some of the gameplay as well. Some of the gameplay, it's not very good, unfortunately. In fact, it's widely considered as probably one of the worst NASCAR console games of all time. And so, obviously, that's just from what I'm seeing so far. I personally have not actually played this game yet, and so hopefully that's not really the case with my opinion, but then again, obviously you don't really know until you play it yet, right? As I said, I'm a longtime NASCAR fan. NASCAR games are probably some of my favorite video games to ever play, and I almost have every single one of them from the PlayStation 1 to the PlayStation 2, and maybe it's just a couple for the PlayStation 3 and stuff like that, but I've really been trying to build up a NASCAR video game collection for the PlayStation 4. I hadn't had a game in NASCAR for the PlayStation 4 yet. This is the very first one, and I'm hoping to get a whole bunch of others very soon, so this is a good start, and hopefully if it is really good, which I have heard it's not, but if it is, hopefully I will enjoy this one. After that, the next game that I got is called Need for Speed Heat. Now, this was released all the way back in 2019 by Electronic Arts, and as far as I know, this is the very last Need for Speed game that was recently released for the PlayStation 4. Recently, Electronic Arts released a Need for Speed game for the PlayStation 5, which of course was Need for Speed Unbound, but unfortunately, I do not have a PlayStation 5 yet still, and unfortunately, it looks like I'm not going to be able to get one for quite a while, unfortunately, because again, of the space limitations that I have here in this room, but hopefully I get one soon that I can get that one, but still, this means that I have now almost virtually every single game there is for the Need for Speed franchise on the PlayStation 4. And really, it's just basically like all the other Need for Speed games that I have. It's really a lot of high-speed racing and also having to escape the police a lot, and really just a whole lot of action that's going on as well. Yeah, as I said before, Need for Speed is probably one of the greatest racing video game franchises there is, dating all the way back to its early days in PlayStation 1. Obviously, they've made so many great games, like for example, The Underground, The Hot Pursuit, and the Most Wanted games, and really, it's just continued all the way from there. And this is obviously one of the latest editions that has come out. Obviously, it was the latest one until late last winter, but still, it is still another good game from the Need for Speed franchise. I've already played this a little bit, and I have really enjoyed it so far. There are still a few other Need for Speed games that I haven't got yet for either of my PlayStation consoles that I really would like to get. For example, the second one, and then maybe at least, I don't know, like one other Need for Speed game that I'm hoping to get at some point for the PlayStation 3. So hopefully I can get that soon. But either way, I really enjoyed the Need for Speed franchise. It's one of my favorite racing games there is, and I'm glad to add yet another one in my collection. Need for Speed Heat. This one is pretty good. Finally, the last game that I got for this month is called Bravo Team. Now, just like Army of Two, this is another one of those, like two-man squad games, obviously, It's basically urban warfare, and you're basically just an Army of Two again, and you're basically teaming up to fight in guerrilla war zones, obviously, You're fighting against the enemy, you're also uncovering a lot of secrets as well, and just like Army of Two, there's just a lot going on in this game, It's urban warfare at its finest. I mean, I'm not usually keen on, like war games in which, you're just like one or two people in a squad and that's it, instead of like, like 4 or 5, like for example, World War II games like Call of Duty, Medal of Honor, and all that stuff. But still, there are some games that I personally have played in the modern era that really seems to really make me very, very excited to play it again. And I don't know about this one yet, considering that I have not played this game yet, nor have I actually heard of this game up until I saw it at Digital Press, but still, it's just another one of those games that I felt like that, if I really haven't tried it yet, I really feel like that I should. So I thought I'd go ahead and see exactly what it will look like. So yeah, obviously there are similarities to this in comparison to Army of Two, and so it's just 2-man squads, and basically there's just a whole lot going on. You just really gotta be on your toes throughout the entire course of the game. But either way, it's another good one. Felt like that would be pretty good to add in my collection, and so hopefully this is a pretty good one that I can play for a very long time as well. So yeah, Bravo Team, the last one for this month. I'm looking forward to getting to play this very soon, and hopefully it is really good. And with that, that's gonna do it for this month. And like I said before, 6 games is very, very small, but unfortunately, the next Haulin Games video that I do in June, as I mentioned at the top of this video, it's probably going to be the very last one that I do for quite a while. As I've already said, the space in which I store all my video games, I've been running out of that for the table that I'm using them for. Not only that, I do have a few bags that I also use to, store some of my games whenever I'm running out of space on this one. However, I'm starting to run out of bags for that one as well. So really, unless I'm somehow finding my way to get my own home at some point, I'm not going to be able to continue collecting for quite a while. So yeah, as a result, the next one that I'm going to do next month is going to be the very last one that I do for quite a while. I don't know how many games I'm going to add for that particular month, but hopefully I can get quite a bit before I push pause on that. But still, the last couple of years getting to add a whole bunch of video games to my collection, building it from the ground up, I really, really enjoyed it. And I still hope at some point that I can branch out to other video game consoles at some point. But at this point, it's going to be once I move out and ultimately get my own home, because at this point, I basically run out of space at this point. And so the next one is probably going to be the last one for a while, so I'll give you some more details on that, on what's going to happen with this franchise in the future. But until then, these games, I still enjoy collecting them just like I do every month. Anyways, that's going to do it for another video. I hope you all enjoyed it. As always, if you'd like to see more of my content, be sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know when my latest video is released. Comment below for future video suggestions, whether it's vlogs, projects, or challenges, you name it. Leave it in the comments below and I'll do my best to make them. As always, follow me on my social media. All the links are in the description below. That's going to do it for another video. I hope you're having another great day. As always, hope to see you all again in another video very soon. So long, everybody.